What if the way you show your dog love is the thing they find hardest to receive? Not the discipline, not the absence, the actual affection, the reaching for them, the holding of them, the moments you initiate because you want them to know you care. What if a significant part of that is landing as something your dog has to endure rather than something they genuinely experience as love? And what if they have been letting you do it quietly every single day, not because it feels good, but because you are the person they trust most and they do not want to damage that? This is not about being a bad owner. Nobody teaches you this. Nobody shows you what your touch actually communicates in a language your dog speaks. By the end of this video, you will see physical connection with your dog through completely different eyes. Stay with me, because number 4 is the one that most owners push back on the hardest, and then go completely silent when they actually understand it. 1. Patting the top of their head. This is possibly the most universal gesture in dog ownership. You reach out, you place your hand on the top of their head, and you give them a few affectionate pats. It feels warm, it feels natural. You have been doing it your entire life, and so has everyone around you. Your dog registers something fundamentally different. In canine social communication, an approach from directly above something coming over the muzzle toward the skull is not a neutral gesture. It sits in the same category as a looming. Posture, a body moving overhead, a hand descending from above. These are the spatial dynamics that animals in social situations use to establish something, not affection, assessment, pressure, dominance display. Your dog has learned that your particular hand in this particular motion is safe. But the nervous system response happening underneath that learned acceptance is not the same response. Triggered by a hand approaching from the side, from below the chin, from a direction that reads as offering rather than arriving from overhead. Research published in Applied Animal Behaviour Science found that dogs showed significantly more stress indicators, ear flattening, lip licking, and body turning during approaches from above the head compared to lateral approaches from familiar humans. The geometry of the approach, independent of who is making it, shapes the dog's comfort response. What this means over time is that your most instinctive, affectionate gesture, the one you default to when a dog is near you, may be building a small, invisible wall rather than a bridge. The dog learns to accept it. They do not learn to love it. The adjustment is simple. Reach from below. Approach the chin, the chest, the side of the neck. Let your hand come from a direction that reads as offering rather than descending. You will notice dogs who flatten slightly under a head pat often lean into a chin scratch in a way that tells you everything about the difference between a gesture they tolerate and one they actually want. 2. Waking them to pet them. Your dog is asleep. They look so peaceful that you want to touch them. You reach over. You stroke their side. You let your hand rest on them because the moment feels too good not to participate in, and they wake up, look at you, and accept it. What is happening in that moment is worth understanding. Dogs cycle through sleep stages, including deep, slow-wave sleep and REM sleep. During deep sleep, the nervous system is actively doing restorative work. Memory consolidation, cortisol, regulation, physical repair. Being pulled out of that state by an external physical input, even a gentle one, requires the nervous system to rapidly reorient, assess the situation, and process whether the input is safe or threatening. Even when it always turns out to be safe, that assessment process has a cost. Research supported by the American Kennel Club Canine Health Foundation found that dogs, interrupted during sleep phases, showed elevated cortisol levels for up to 30 minutes after waking and were more likely to display reactive behaviors in the hours following compared to their baseline. Chronic mild sleep interruption over time was associated with increased generalized anxiety markers. Your dog wakes up and accepts your touch because you are the person they love. They are not. Telling you the interruption is welcome. They are telling you they trust you enough to manage it. The shift here is simply to wait. A sleeping dog is doing something important. When they wake, naturally, when they stretch and move toward wakefulness on their own terms, that is the moment. The connection in those moments is different because both of you are actually present in it. 3. Touching them while your attention is somewhere else. You are watching something. You are on your phone. You are thinking through the end of a long day, and your hand finds your dog automatically. You scratch, you stroke, you are doing it the way you might tap your fingers without noticing. Your dog is right there, and your hand is on them. This sounds like a small thing. It is not a small thing to them. Dogs process physical contact with their primary owner as a significant social event. It carries information about your attention, your regulation, your availability. When the touch is automatic and absent-minded, the signal your dog receives is not nothing. It is something closer to static. Contact that registers as physical presence, but not social presence. You are there, and you are also not there. For a dog attuned to you at an extraordinarily fine level, that gap is noticeable. Research from Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest examined how dogs responded to attentive owner interaction versus equivalent physical contact from a distracted owner. Dogs in genuine attentive interaction showed significantly lower cortisol levels and more pro-social behavior in the hour following, compared to dogs who received the same amount of physical contact from owners who were demonstrably distracted. The contact itself was not the variable. The presence behind the contact was, your dog does not need you to be fully present every moment. What they need is for the moments when you reach for them to mean something, to involve the part of you that is actually there. 5 minutes of touch that is fully present does more for your dog than an hour of automatic contact that has your body in the room but not you. 4. Hugging them. This is the one. And before you read further, understand that the discomfort you may feel right now is the exact response most owners have, followed by a recognition that lands somewhere quiet and certain. You hug your dog because it is the most natural expression of love you have. It is how you tell the people you care about most that you care about them. It is physical, full body, close, and your dog is someone you love more than almost anyone. In canine social language, a full body wrap applied from behind or from above both arms, encircling the torso, restricting movement, is not a recognized expression of affection. What it maps onto most closely in the dog's behavioral vocabulary is a constraint, a restriction of movement. In certain contexts, it maps onto what one animal does to another just before or during an altercation. A full body hold applied from above. Your dog does not experience your hug as threatening, but they experience it as something they have to manage, something they wait out, something they tolerate rather than enjoy. In 2016, a researcher at the University of British Columbia analyzed 250 photographs of people hugging dogs sourced from public media. In 81.6% of images, the dog displayed at least one clear stress indicator. Head turned away, half-moon eye, ears flattened or pulled back, lip licking in a non-food context, body stiffening. These are not ambiguous. These are the signals dogs use when they are communicating. I am managing this situation. The gesture you use to tell your dog you love them is, for most dogs, something they quietly endure out of loyalty. The translation of that love into something your dog can actually receive looks like sitting beside them, letting them rest against you, moving your hand in the direction they lean into, rather than encircling them. Not less love, expressed in a language that lands. 5. Holding them still for something they did not agree to. This last one is the most overlooked, and it happens every day. You want to check their paw. You need to look at something. You are trying to get a photo of them for someone you love. So you place your hands on them and hold them in position while you do what needs to be done. It takes 20 seconds. They do not fight you. You move on. Your dog's nervous system registered that 20 seconds as a restraint event. Restraint in animals triggers a physiological response that is distinct from calm physical contact. It is not processed as I am being held by someone who loves me. It is processed as I cannot move and I do not know when this will stop. The intensity varies by individual. The underlying signal immobility imposed from outside without consent is one, the nervous system is specifically designed to flag. Research published in Applied Animal Behaviour Science by Herron, Shofer, and Reisner examined owner-reported responses to handling methods. Dogs subjected to direct physical restraint showed significantly higher rates of avoidance, displacement, stress behaviors, and wariness during subsequent similar interactions compared to dogs directed into position without applied force. The same hands that check the paw eventually become hands the dog monitors before fully relaxing into. The consequence of frequent restraint events is not dramatic. It is cumulative and invisible. Your dog does not become anxious overnight. They simply begin to read certain physical approaches with more calculation than before. When you need them still, the alternative is not force. It is teaching stillness as a choice. A dog who stays because they have learned it is safe to stay is in a completely different physiological state than a dog who is held. That difference is not invisible to them, and over time, it will not be invisible to you either. This is what ties all 5 of these together. Your dog has never needed you to be an expert. They have never needed special techniques or scientific understanding or the right commands. What they have needed, their entire life, is for the moments when you reach for them to be moments that consider them, that speak in a direction they can actually receive, because they have been on the other end of your love since the day you brought them home. And now you understand what that has looked like from where they are standing. If this video gave you something, drop a comment telling us which of the 5 surprised you most. Hit like and subscribe because the more you understand your dog, the better the life you build together. And that is always worth showing up for.